right there.
And I know how packed the show is. I promise I won't marinate or ruminate. Just like the amount of freaking out there is, we have to acknowledge said freaking out. I just find it really
funny when you say you can cover it in 5 minutes or less. I'm like, the very first thing that my husband said after your first episode was, "That guy talks real fast."
That is true. Would you believe I've gotten that feedback before?
No way.
I want to see, the thing that'll let me die happy is RidiculousHat doing any sort of rap karaoke. That's what I want to. I want to hear him do Rap God karaoke at the next Microsoft Con. That's the thing. I really want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
Is the stream making any audio?
Should. Is it not? I hear me.
I want someone else. Okay, maybe it is probably me. Oh, it's definitely me. Oh.
Do you accidentally have your site or tab muted?
Let's see. Possibly. It's not muted, but I installed a new video card recently and decided that the way I wanted to hear things was through my monitor, which is not accurate.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
And me.
I was just saying, I can hear all this stuff coming back through your mic. So.
Okay, cool. Hey, the Grand Arcanum, can you hear us? And also, how are you doing? And also, heck yeah, Hearthstone.
Heck yeah. Heckin'. The heckin' chicken. That's today's. We're renaming the show today. Not really.
Fantastic.
But
if TGA can hear us, then I'm good. I'm going to assume there's something messed up on my end, but it doesn't matter because I know my recording software works, and you both have your local recording stuff.
My local recording is going right now, and I'm just going to leave it so I don't things up.
I was going to say, my local recording is just getting me. Is that right?
Yes.
That's what I want.
We want just you.
Not everybody, just me.
Not everybody.
Just you. I want exclusively the Jocelyn Carney experience.
Got it.
That's all I'm looking for.
That sounds like
we're going to publish just your audio and nobody else's voice. You're going to laugh by yourself with giant blank gaps. You're going to sound like a crazy person.
I usually do.
If Jocelyn had a weird experimental band in college, I think it would be called the Jocelyn Carney Experience. It would have been the Jocelyn Moffat Experience at the time.
It would have been, yeah.
Unless it was such an experience, she actually time traveled, knew her own fate, and then like came back and was like, just for this limited engagement, I'm going by Jocelyn Carney. We're all going to transcend to this evening.
Can you imagine how creepy that would be when I actually met my husband, which was years and years later, and then I told him that I had this band with his name. And
you could just, you play it off as a cute thing. Be like, oh my God, I used to have a thing of the Jocelyn Carney Experience. And it was just random. I plugged my name into a random name generator. It was like, what year were you in college? 1999?
No.
Listen, before the show, you were making a big deal about your age, and so I'm pretty sure that's wrong. But the way Jocelyn talks about it, it sounds like she went to college in 1971.
No, I'm not that bad. No. Not that old.
Listen,
I started college in 2003.
All right. Here's how we're going to. This is what we're going to do. We're going to listen. I realize I'm the youngest one here, but
which was oh my God, that was almost 20 years ago. Fuck me.
I'm still moving past the idea that 2020 was 2 years ago. Still not past that. I'm still working through that.
I'm moving past the fact that the concert I've been the most excited for in the last half of my life is called When We Were Young.
God damn it.
Oh, is that the one with the Used and Paramore that's been all over Twitter the past couple days?
Is that the one with literally every band ever? Yes. Yes.
I noticed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every band except for, I don't know, old people. Well, really old people.
Yeah.
Definitely saw that concert.
Wait, hold on. Can both of you see Discord right now? I want to send you a card.
Oh, Jesus. I can pull it up. I can pull up Discord.
Yeah. Go ahead and pull up Discord.
That's
gonna laugh. Yeah.
That's a dick.
It's a one-eyed tentacle.
That is a penis.
I don't know that.
Is that actually?
All right, everybody. This right here.
That's.
I'm gonna get taken down for showing
this.
This
looks like.
Yeah,
yep.
That's a card. We're talking about a video game.
That is a one-eyed Willy.
It's that card's last name is definitely Wines Earl.
Hey, Hat.
Bring it. Are you showing me your tentacle, Cthulhu? Is that what that is?
I've got your phallic imagery right here, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sigmund Freud has something to say about that tentacle. He's got some opinions. He's gonna link some things to that tentacle.
I bet the other old gods are envious.
I'm a wiener. Let's see.
Just
Hold
keep that locked and loaded.
Just clip that like 2 seconds.
Hold up.
I'm a wiener.
Hold up a minute. I'm trying to see if I can bring this down just into my frame.
Oh God.
Let me. Boop,
I just
there
updated
it
the
is.
show title now.
Yeah, we're just gonna. Hold on. I can.
Wow.
I can crop this
I thought
better.
it was big before. I guess it's more of a grower than a shower.
What is it with every time something is a grower in Hearthstone, it's pink. It's always a pink grower. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
So
what I like about this gag, how subtle it is.
Yeah.
Very subtle.
Oh yeah,
so
Garrett,
TGA,
you have your local
I get
audio,
good
so
news.
you could grab "I'm a Wiener."
Yeah.
It's my dick of Cthulhu.
Oh boy.
1, put your god in that box. 2.
I mean, if that's what you want to call it. I think you might be setting some people up for some disappointment there.
No, I am not going to tease people with something and then last minute refund it. Huh? I'm not going to do that.
Would 2 be Mage will open that box? 1, put that god in the box. 2, Mage will open that box.
Definitely something's getting at least +1/+1 after.
It's Yogg that has the puzzle box. I mean, I said God. If it's an old God, I guess Yogg works too. It's a single. It still works. Yeah. 1, put your Yogg in that box. But that's Cthulhu. But it's just God. God. It's an old God. We run with that. We run with that, Chad. Okay. Listen, I am happy to come to the next Hearthstone meeting to workshop the Hearthstone Dick in a Box parody song to make it. What would we put this? Make it lore friendly. But in the meantime, we have a show to do. Stop trying to distract me with your childish ways, Chad. Jeez.
Don't you all have tentacles?
I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do local recording. Jocelyn, you can do local recording. Garrett's been documenting all of this.
It's going.
Thankfully.
At least Garrett's side of all of this. I would actually really like to hear the recording that doesn't have any of our audio, so it's just Garrett.
It just sounds like the rambling of a madman.
Yeah, rambling about tentacles and boxes.
It's my soundboard grew 3 sizes that day.
So did Cthulhu's wiener.
Oh boy. I guess depends how many friendly minions were around.
It's gonna be that kind of a day.
I'm not sure.
It's been this kind of a day.
That's not the kind of buddy I signed up for.
No. Whoa! That's cool and amusing, and that it just pops up right there. Just pops up when I'm not expecting it. I guess that's the point. I guess that's part of the experience.
I mean, you have a lot of experience with popcorn in movie theaters. You know what it's like.
Do not. We're not going there.
You know where we are
also,
going?
That doesn't happen as much as you think. The people that are interested in using the movie theater as their personal space, they do not care if you catch them or try to hide it. They are uninterested in discretion. All right.
I don't. I'm going to start the show now. On that note, let's put up the logo for the Angry Chicken, and do about a countdown. Because the Angry Chicken episode.
I was expecting surprise tentacle. We're gonna put
if
up
you're expecting it, it's not a surprise.
Wink, wink.
Can I start this podcast? I will pull this podcast over.
The Angry Tentacle begins in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Penis. The Angry Chicken Hearthstone podcast is produced by amove.tv. Check out amove TV for more podcasts covering Blizzard games. For more of Jocelyn's gaming podcasts, visit jossplays.com. And to find many more podcasts with Ridiculous Hat, follow @RidiculousHat on Twitter. Every episode of Tech is made possible thanks to our legendary patrons over at patreon.com/TAC.
Time's up. Let's do this.
Legendary!
You face Jaraxxus. You smell like a leper gnome. I knew it. So hot. A podcast about Hearthstone and Battlegrounds. This is The Angry Chicken.
Greetings and welcome back, everybody. This is indeed The Angry Chicken, and I hope you are comfortable, or, listening to this on the download where you can pause it and, take the whole episode over time.
Take it real slow.
Sure. That was...
The pre-show already feeling oddly relevant.
It is. If y'all don't tune in to this show live every Monday, usually at 8 p.m. Eastern time on twitch.tv/AmoveTV, but recording on Wednesday this week because there was jack shit to talk about on Monday. But there is all shit to talk about today.
Now. Yeah.
All the shit to talk about today. You missed a really ridiculous pre-show that, my stomach still hurts. I was laughing so hard. So anyways, with me as always is Jocelyn, Ridiculous Hat, and it's going to be the big Battlegrounds special with a side of being acquired for $70 billion and
Throwing that in there.
People mad about Dust, like that is a big deal considering everything else that has happened this week. So strap in.
I just looked at the show notes and I realized the company being acquired by a giant other company in what is some of the biggest gaming news of the week is on page 12.
Yeah, well, that was a conscious decision because we here at the Angry Chicken feel terrible for the Hearthstone team for, I don't know, the 17,000th time in a row having their big news trounced by Activision Blizzard bullshit.
Goddamn Bobby.
Yeah.
So it's, compared to the previous hype season disruptions, this one has the possibility of optimism. Possibility.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, listen, I think it's really good news that Bobby Kotick went out of his way to inform us all and clear it up that the reason the stock prices are low is because of the delay of Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4. I'm really glad
to
that
do with him at all.
I'm so glad that a man
surrounding circumstances.
I'm so glad that a man that literally threatened murder to an assistant was brave enough to clear that up for us.
I too am shocked and appalled that Bobby Kotick is a shitbag. Did not see this coming.
I can't.
Who could have known?
It was really brave to make that clarification.
Yeah.
Just so good. So good.
Anyways, we're going to talk about that in about 2.5 hours from now. I'm very excited to get to that topic.
Yes, there's so much to talk about. Thank you so much if you're supporting us on Patreon. If you're not and you like what we do and you want to support us, the holidays always hit hard and not in a good way. We lose a lot of patrons. So if you've been listening nonstop, you get your Hearthstone news from us week in, week out. You like what we're doing, you want to support Jocelyn, Ridiculous Hat, and myself, check out patreon.com/TAC. We got some perks for you over there. And the lone ranger, no, what would you say? I don't know. The one person standing strong that signed up to be a patron during the season where most people leave Patreon is Riley S. So Riley, thank you for coming on board and joining our Patreon. I really appreciate it. And now let's. I'm gonna set a timer because I was told something. I was told something at the beginning of the show.
Hold on.
Nope.
I need a news bumper, Garrett. I need a news bumper. Let's go.
You need a news? Okay. Well, all right.
This is news.
Okay, here's what's going to happen. Before the show, Ridiculous Hat promised that he could explain what he is about to explain in under 5 minutes. So without further ado, I'm going to hover my finger over this button on my iPhone and then hit this bumper.
Good news, everyone!
So not only am I going to explain the news of today and really the past 24 hours in under 5 minutes, I'm going to do so enunciating clearly because Jocelyn's husband thinks I talk too fast. So, basically, here's short.
Throw Matt under the bus there.
Listen, I'm doing this for him and for you and for the listeners. It's very important. I want to make sure everyone hears me clearly, but I want to make sure I don't waste any time. So the rest of the show is much happier. There was a bit of a kerfluffle over the past 24 hours. The short version is you might have gotten a whole bunch of dust yesterday and then not have it today. That's basically the short version. So yesterday, they ran a script to try and fix a small error that happened where some people got the goldens from the honor track or the golden Lockalar from the paid tavern pass. They got those in error from end of season chess or from arena rewards or duels rewards. You weren't supposed to be able to get these cards at all. They were supposed to be uncraftable, undustable, or just supposed to be granted to your account. People were opening them where they shouldn't have. They ran a script to try and refund these cards and give you the dust back that you would have gotten because it might have been any other card. The script was overzealous and dusted thousands and thousands of dust of cards to people. I got 8,800 dust twice, 17,600 dust. I don't remember ever opening one of these things. I think I might have opened one. But also, the script was so overzealous, it was converting extra copies of cards into full value dust. Well, it converted non-extra copies too. I lost all of my goldens, like Frostwolf Kennels and Lockalar and all the objectives and whatever that were from the honor track. So that was unintended. Obviously, the communication wasn't really there because this was intended to be a little bit of dust for a few people and end up being a whole mess of dust for everyone on the America server, or at least a large chunk of people in the America server. It was weird. People were talking about it. No one knew what to do. We got emails about it. It was in our Discord. It was in everywhere that I saw. Nick, HS Deck Tech on Twitter, did a great job of trying to weather the storm without official communications because those had to be dealt with in the morning with the business team and with operations and whatever to figure out what's going on. 20 hours later, today, about an hour before the show, we got the first forum post saying they were going to fix the issue. They're going to revert the unintended dust, restore the missing cards. It was really awkward because almost everybody lost all the bonus dust they were given before they got their cards back. There are unsubstantiated reports, people losing more dust than they gained, but I haven't gotten a single message actually reporting that. I asked explicitly and no one sent me anything. That probably didn't happen. However, if you crafted cards with the bonus dust and got yourself to a low dust amount, no one got to negative dust. There were multiple waves of dust reduction. So if you crafted a bunch of stuff, went to 0 dust, then dusted something to test it, and then logged back in, that extra dust might have been gone too, because it was reducing the dust card by card. Doesn't seem like anybody lost more than they gained. But most people didn't end up with any bonus dust, got their cards back, just had a brief weird period where something happened, they didn't know what was up, and then it went back to the way it was before. However, there are no reports of negative dust, so anyone that spent their dust right away, it seems like they got to keep the cards they made, which is super weird and rewards actually just exploiting the system instead of waiting it out. I don't love that, but I don't know if they had better solutions. They might have an uproar here. I don't know how intense it is based on where I look. Some people are like, whatever. And other people are like, oh my God, they stole our dust. That's not what happened. Nobody lost anything. Just people didn't gain something they thought they gained, but it didn't feel great. So don't mess with your collections right now. Wait it out. It'll level off. Entirely possible that if you dust stuff now, then that dust will go away. But if you just wait a minute, all your cards will be back. All your dust will be back. It'll be just the way that you left it. Community reaction's been varied. I wish there was in-game communications. Everything was on Twitter except for one official forum post today. Big ol' mess. Good luck to the community team for dealing with it. Just a tech bug that was more visible than your average one. Garrett, what is my time?
So you have a minute to spare. Would you like to take a moment? Do you have anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Matt Carney for inspiring me to enunciate clearly and make sure that everyone can hear. I really appreciate the feedback from listeners. And really, I can't think of a more loyal and dedicated listener than him. But also, I would like to thank Nick, HS Deck Tech for just putting himself in the firing line today and just dealing with all this head on. He's getting tweeted at an awful lot. I tried to help where I could, but this is just kind of a messy situation. Tech bugs happen, but now is a very busy time. And with all the stuff that went down to Team 5 today, I would like to thank Team 5. There is a lot of stuff that got leaked and data mined today, and on top of that, there was this whole dust debacle, which, again, no one lost anything, but no one really gained anything. So it just was more visibility and accounts going up and then down. But anyone that was excited about making new cards and then didn't do it because they weren't sure what was going on, that got taken away. But anyone that was excited about making new cards then did it right away, said, I'm going to do this before they take it away. They didn't really face any consequences. So it just meant that it was the wrong thing to do to wait. And that is not the lesson that I love is taught here. So I hope they do something different next time, because I think it's better to reward the people that let things settle and recognize a mistake was made instead of just trying to revert but saying, well, the people took advantage, nothing we can do now. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Well said.
We have confirmation in the chat as well that the process is currently done. So if you lost your golden cards, you should have them back. If you had extra dust, you should not anymore. And try to have some level of understanding that tech bugs happen, but also if anyone feels bad because they were excited they were going to make some cards and they didn't get to or chose not to, and then now they don't get to, I understand the disappointment there.
Yeah. Just be nice to the Hearthstone team. Listen, they're a little busy right now trying to understand if they need to rename the game to be Clippy Stone Heroes of Microsoft Wordcraft. Little busy. Not sure. Thank you for that. I'm mad impressed that you got through that in the time that you did, Hat. And now let's get to the big Hearthstone news this week, which is a Battlegrounds update, the size of which we have never seen before.
Have a good battle, friend.
So, over the last 2 days, a bunch of your favorite Battlegrounds players, streamers, competitors, personalities have been announcing and revealing the next big update to Hearthstone, which is a massive, massive update to Battlegrounds. The patch is supposed to be coming January 25th. We've seen all of the reveal videos are now out, and tomorrow there is a stream where the folks that were involved in those reveals are going to be beating the snot out of each other on a private server for our entertainment.
Educated Dummies is the team you should root for. By the way, best team name.
Listen, if I legitimately didn't probably watch them the most, I would want to root for them just because the name is the best.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. You all know Show, right?
Yes.
The streamer Show. He's with Dog, and their team name is the Dog Show with the J. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Close second, I think, but I just love Educated Dummies, and
Yeah.
I think Felissa and Educated Collins are amazing. So
Yeah,
no argument there.
I think Dog Show is
Dog
good.
Show.
I think the Dog Show is good, but I think the best in show goes to Educated Dummies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's a lot here, but the big thing is we're getting a new system added into Battlegrounds with this update. We're getting buddies, which just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside until I realize how many things I need to talk about today. And also that a lot of these buddies have like sharp teeth or weapons. And I'm not sure they want to be my buddy. I think they're going to hurt me.
Well, no, see, they're your buddy. They're going to hurt everybody else who's coming for you.
Yeah, but the other people have buddies too. And there's 7 people in every lobby that aren't me. And they all have buddies.
You just got to pick the better buddy.
It could be worse.
I need an accountability
buddy. One of them could
buddy.
be Diablo. Yeah.
Ooh, yes, you're right. They could, which would mean they overstay their welcome too. That's the friend that comes and won't leave after the party's over. That's Diablo. That's Diablo. But anyways, if you haven't heard, if you're wondering what the shit is a buddy in Battlegrounds, it is not calling up a friend and saying, hey, will you talk to me while I play this game of Battlegrounds? Although you can do that. Maybe you got a buddy in that way. Maybe you have a friendship that is like that, and it sounds lovely. I applaud your wholesome friendship. But every single hero in Hearthstone Battlegrounds is getting a buddy minion. And these quote-unquote buddies are only available to their respective heroes. So
asterisks.
it's essentially, 75 new minions?
Yes, because we had 71 heroes, and then we got 4 more, right? Because we got Tavish, Drekthar, Vandar, Stormpike, and Brukan were announced. So, yeah, 75 new minions.
Yeah, it's a lot, and they're all exceptionally unique. They essentially synergize with the hero. Like it makes sense that they're buddy. Like the effects, they tie in some way with the hero power. Essentially, mileage very much varies, but like every single one of these is excruciatingly unique, and so much so that I'm right now, I'm here to tell you, everyone listening, we are not going to read out 75 minions on today's podcast. No, this is not going to be how we play it. We're going to have a talk about the buddy, and then we're maybe going to talk about a few of them that we're really excited about. And then we'll talk about light fare like Microsoft. So anyways, that's the buddy system in a nutshell. But along with the buddies comes how you're going to get your buddy minions, and there's essentially a power bar mechanic. That's what I saw Hearth Pwn referring to it as. I don't know if there's an official moniker or if that is the official moniker. Maybe someone in chat could let us know if there is an official moniker or not. You know, just saying.
Your buddy bar.
It's your buddy bar. Oh, I like that. Buddy meter. Oh, Joce did a better job. We're gonna go with buddy bar. I visited the buddy bar before the show and filled the stein up with beer. As I spill on myself. Go me.
Nailing it.
I don't drink from steins very often. It's extremely heavy, and the balance of weight shifts when you drink from it. Anyways, it's got 2 pips or 2 ticks, whatever you like. I'm a pip guy. I like saying pip. And once you and there's like a dividing line down the center, and once you fill the first pip, you get 1 buddy minion, and then when you fill the second pip, you get 2 more, and so everyone has a chance to get a triple of their buddy.
If they've hung on to it.
Exactly, a chance, right? Like you can play your 1, and then you can sell it if you want to do an economy play. And some of these minions too, you look at them and you look at the effects that they have, and you go, oh, this is actually worth more, not as a golden. So let's intentionally sell, even if you don't want the economy play, because it's more impactful to get 2 more effects off of the minion than it is to golden it and get whatever your duplicated effect is. And then the way you get it is, this is the one where, like, I watched RDU's announcement where he explained how you're going to fill up the buddy bar. But he kind of just gave like a sampler. Essentially, there's tasks that we need to complete, and that'll fill up the bar. And RDU mentioned it was stuff like, quote, dealing damage, popping divine shields, winning or tying fights. And apparently Crips revealed that there was another one that was entering combat was another trigger.
Yeah, which this is one of my first questions, that because I like to play heroes that tend to get a little greedy, like Alexstrasza, or back in the day, and sometimes still now, AFK. And so for a hero like AFK in particular, she doesn't do anything for the first couple of rounds. Like, that's literally the way her hero works. There's nothing you can do to change that. So I was like, if you're supposed to deal damage and pop divine shields, like, she's going to be behind everybody else. So I think that's where the entering combat task comes from, is that if you are in a round, it's like a passive thing everybody gets that will help fill up your buddy bar. So I think that that's where that comes from. And those are the only 4 things that I've seen thrown around. Like Crip literally counted them off on his fingers. I don't know if that's because he had an official list or if those were still examples. I don't believe they've really clarified. But we know for sure it's those 4 things: dealing damage, popping divine shields, winning or tying, and entering the combat. So you could also think of that as winning, tying, or losing. And we're also not sure if different things progress your buddy bar further. I
was unsure how you know what you're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it listed somewhere? Is it randomized? Do certain heroes always have the same objective?
I'm hoping that if you hover over it, it'll pop up and say what you have to do, but who knows?
Yeah, because also
So,
the
The comparison I'd use here, I know this is we're gonna get some uppity responses. These are quest lines. These are phases in quest lines.
oh, don't
That's
worry,
what these
no one
are.
that plays standard pays attention to Battlegrounds.
That actually, I don't know how I feel about that. But so these are like phases, stages. I don't know what the word is, but like they're just steps you have to go through to get the thing. And I wish there was a little bit more clarity up front of how, like, is it the same every game? Is it the same for each hero? What do we do? But also I imagine this will be fairly intuitive when we play with it. But the comparison to make here is quest lines. It's almost identical to quest lines that you get 2 little jobs to do, and then when you do each one, you get a thing.
Right, except that like you don't have to. So I think why there's maybe a little bit of confusion in the chat room is that like it's not like you have to do each of those things. Like you don't have to enter combat and win and deal damage and pop a divine shield to get your first buddy. Those are the 4 things that will essentially score you points, and once you get enough points, then you've filled up your bar and you get your minion.
Yes, I'm still unclear though. Like, are all 4 of those on the menu all at once, all the time?
Yeah, like if I enter combat, win it, pop a divine shield, and deal damage to my enemy. It's deal damage to enemy minions. So I deal damage to enemy minions. I do all 4 things. Does that mean I get my buddy on turn 2?
Okay.
Like what if I somehow kill the puppy, the mechanical puppy?
Yeah. So Celestion's in the chat saying all 4 are up always. So then my other question is like, does everyone fill their stuff at the same rate? Because AFK, like you said, is gonna if the bar is filled at the same rate for everyone, then AFK feels like they're at a disadvantage. Like maybe also buddy minions were balanced with that in mind. There's a lot of thoughts bouncing around my head. But there's a lot of comparison to it, like alt meters in other video games, and being like, oh, then no one knows how much you need to like shoot in Overwatch to get it. And I'm like, yeah, but this is an Overwatch. It's a card game, or well, now a card game turned freaking auto chess. But I'm used to hard math and being able to like wrap my head around it, knowing exactly what I need to do, how many times I need to do it to get the effect I am trying to chase after. So, and Celestion's saying the rates are different. See the tavern tier of the buddies.
Yeah, so some buddies are tavern 2, 3, and 4. But I mean, so does that mean I also have to be that certain tavern tier? Like I don't, this whole system to me, I find very unclear and confusing, but maybe that's just because we haven't seen the reveal stream that's coming tomorrow. There's maybe going to be some bigger blog post to explain things or something, but and like I'm not thinking of it as like I have to do all 4 of those things, but like if I pop a divine shield, does that give me 20 points versus entering combat that gives me 10 points, like out of 100 to get my buddy? Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know what I have to do or how to best get my buddy. And saying, oh well, it's tavern 3 or it's tier 3, like okay. That still doesn't tell me how many times I need to pop a shield.
So, from what I can tell, the different buddies have different strengths, and there are 3 different strengths, right? It's like tavern 2, tavern 3, tavern 4, but like you've got light, medium, fierce, right? If you're a fighting game player, you've got the 3 different strengths of buddies, and what that means is how good the card is, which is denoted by the tavern tier because that's the measurement we have in Battlegrounds, and how long it takes you to get it. So the higher tier stuff, better buddies, takes longer. Lower tier stuff, technically worse, takes less time. That's what I can tell so far.
I was gonna say, does it actually take more time? Like, if I pick a hero with a tier 2 buddy, am I gonna get that on like turn 2? Or if I have a tier 4 buddy, am I gonna get that on turn 7? Like, or are the buddy meters different? Are they specific to the heroes they're attached to? Like I don't know. I feel like those are the kind of questions that really competitive players are going to want answers to.
Yeah, and it's seeming like what we're hearing from chat here is like it doesn't seem like that's the way the Hearthstone team wants you to think about it, but it's certainly the first freaking place my brain goes. Is like, well, wait, I'm used to being able to know things in this incremental sort of fashion. So I understand
really
that's not
that's like not a tempo and an economy standpoint. It really matters when you get a bonus buddy, especially, or like a bonus minion, especially this early in the game, right? Like those are things that make really big differences to how you plan to play out your Battlegrounds lobby.
Yeah, so this is
delaying that by a turn one way or the other, especially when we're talking about, turns 2, 3, and 4, that's going to make a big difference.
My instinct here is that this will be clear after about 2 BGs. Playing about 2
more or
BGs.
less.
Well, possibly, yeah.
we don't know. We'll know tomorrow. But I'm going to read, because Celestlon's in chat right now, so I'm just going to read some stuff that Celestlon dropped in chat right now, saying you'll get a tier 2 buddy on about 5 gold. You get a tier 3 buddy on about 6 gold. Tier 4 buddy on about 7 gold. So there's these ranges they're kind of targeting, but then Celestlon goes on to clarify that you can get them faster if you perform very well, or if you do very well, or slower if you do really poorly. So that now for me, it's really clicking. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, now it really is kind of aligning with like an alt gauge in something like Overwatch for me. That does make sense. And now I'm like really interested because I like doing poorly on purpose so that I get to go against the first ghost and power level. I like that a lot. But what if I want my buddy? I'm incentivized to now want to win more. Like it upsets certain strategies depending on what you're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think this mechanic doesn't seem like... Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Hat.
This mechanic, I think, it reminds me kind of like Galakron in that it doesn't elevator pitch well, but after you play with it for a couple games, you're like, all right, I kind of get it. But it's kind of hard to explain and all these
Galakron was so difficult, and then the first time I played with him, it was like, oh, this is like really straightforward and simple.
Yeah, you play a card with Invoke on it, it ticks up a counter and reaches into your deck and presses the Galakron Hero Power button. But that is not easy to explain or grok when you see it, and so right now we're trying to figure out, like, how exactly does this gauge work? When after about 2 BGs, I imagine like, oh yeah, it does the thing, and then sometimes it gives me the thing, and then I can play to maximize this once I'm, I've gotten an hour worth of experience on this. But I don't know if intuitive is the word. I bet the system plays intuitively and adds a layer to the game that is interesting, but I think maybe only complex to explain and maybe complex to maximize, but probably not complex to experience. It just happens. It's not a thing that you need to do. It's a thing that happens to you. You can look into it and dig into it and make it happen on your terms more often if you are strategically inclined, but you don't have to. You can just play and then it just goes.
That's fair. I think my potential worry or like red flag that I see is saying like, if you're doing well, you get it faster. If you're doing poorly, you get it slower. Seems very snowball-y. And maybe there's going to be different heroes that are going to play this different ways. Like that's how Battlegrounds kind of just works. But yeah, just the idea of like, if I get my buddy, all of a sudden I'm getting my power spike. And if I do that quickly, it means I'm already doing well. So I get I'm doing well. I get my power spike. I do more well.
I mean, in theory, right? Like, yeah, this is another thing I think we need to see play out. Cause like, who knows, maybe getting to tier 5 faster is still powerful. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a meta. We're going to find out like, certain buddies are a threat and other
people than me are going to figure out how to min-max this.
Yeah. I'm on another camp where I cannot help. I look at this and I just go, Why are you making your job so damn hard on yourselves there, Hearthstone Battlegrounds devs? You just added armor. You just added this knob that you can turn to help with the underpowered heroes. And now we're throwing buddies into the mix, and now suddenly it's just like...
But armor's going away, though.
Oh, it is? I totally missed that bit.
It is?
Yeah. So armor is being wiped out while they figure out how buddies interact with the whole system. And then
okay, my point still stands.
Yeah,
they're making the job harder.
It really still stands. Yeah, like I think it's really good that they have knobs that they can tweak. Like this gives them something to change about heroes that isn't just their hero power or the cost of their hero power. Now they can mess around with the stats on the buddies, with the effects on the buddies, and you know, like it gives them another way to fix balance issues, because there have been quite a few balance issues lately where there's some heroes that are just terrible and some that are insta picks but maybe not as exciting to play, like Ysera. So I think that this just gives them one more thing they can do that's a little bit more interesting and a little bit more complex than the armor system. Although I did really like the armor system, and I think that kind of brought some heroes into the, I guess, playable pile.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
Maybe weren't there otherwise.
Listen,
so
as a Bigglesworth purist, I was really excited about armor.
Bigglesworth is actually one that I want to talk about when we start talking about buddies.
Hell to the yes. I actually haven't seen it yet. Most of today, haven't seen it. I'll be reacting in real time. Yeah.
By the way, we're hearing in chat again from Celeston. Hey, Celeston, thank you for being here to give us up-to-the-minute content. We appreciate the live content feed. Armor's being temporarily disabled, but coming back later.
Yes.
They're going to have so many knobs and dials to turn here, but I have an alternative perspective to present about this complex mechanic from the perspective of someone that has played precisely 2 Battlegrounds since the launch of Mercenaries in October. Next week, when this patch goes live, I expect that number to at least double. But in fact, increase by an order of magnitude, if not more, because this looks cool as hell. I don't know. Like, it's the buddy thing makes each hero unique in a way that isn't just one button sometimes. It actually makes the games play really differently. And I've seen a lot of concerns about people like, this is power creep. No. Power creep is what happens when they leave good cards and standard like, well, we got to print other good cards. No, this is the dev saying, let's make it more powerful. That's not creep. This is power walk, power run. Like it's an intentional choice that they're making, but also it's different. It's gonna make this Battlegrounds, air quotes, expansion year, refresh, whatever, feel dramatically different from the last one. It's gonna be really distinctive, kind of like how I remember how much I liked Dark Moon Prizes as not a regular Battlegrounds player, because it was interesting and different and more powerful as fun sometimes. And this makes a lot of the heroes look like they're going to do some goofy stuff, but also these buddies seem like they're balanced against each other. And if everybody gets more powerful, I don't know if the field will be less balanced. And most importantly, this looks like it was designed because the 15 damage cap exists. They could not have done this without the 15 damage cap, because people just die. They just be gone. But the 15 damage cap means you're kind of guaranteeing a few turns to happen, which means a lot of people are pretty likely to get the chance to their buddy. They're not just going to completely misfire. Reduces the floor of how bad your comp can get. And I have tested that floor many times. Sometimes there are 6 Murloc players. Yeah. Sometimes there are 6 Murloc players in the lobby, and you end up with 1 Cold Light Seer. Like, this is going to get bigger eventually. And it doesn't. And I die. But with the 15 damage cap,
that's what
you
she
just
said.
kind of know that you're going to get a few turns.
See, Hat, you talk so fast you don't even know what she said.
I know.
He knows. He knows. He's just coming to terms with what he's wrought.
With what she has said.
Yeah. That was cold. Lightseer. I don't know. This seems like it's a power up, but in a way that everyone gets to power up. It's interesting. It makes the games feel different, but also makes it less likely for me to completely whiff and not get anything. I don't know. It's cool. I want to try it. I'm also not a Battlegrounds player, so people that like the way it was before and that are concerned about massive change, I think those are reasonable concerns, because this is very different. But I'm curious to see how it plays. And as someone that doesn't play BGs, I want to do this.
I am also excited about it, and there's skepticism because it's just so much. but also, I remember being super skeptical about Dark Moon prizes, and I love them and I miss them. I think they worked really, really well. So I have a good amount of faith here. And now that I live on the show was educated on the fact that these have freaking like tavern tiers on them, and that is going to adjust the rate at like how quickly you get them. Hey, there's another knob that they can turn, as well as the health and attack and effect on these cards. So.
Yeah, and I think, at least to me, this seems like a much more permanent addition to Battlegrounds. Like, this seems like that, and this is why I kind of don't think of it as power creep necessarily, is because it seems like they want to fundamentally change how the game is played, which I understand can be concerning to people who already like the way the game is, right? Like, you come in and say, okay, I'm going to totally change the base mechanics of how this mode works. For some people, that's going to be a huge red flag. I think it's exciting for others, and I am in the pool of people that think it is exciting, but this feels a whole lot more permanent than, designing 10 spells that everybody gets in every lobby or in some lobbies. Like, this very much feels like we're changing how the base game works. I don't think that they've said how long this is staying in, or if it is like a permanent change, if this is how Battlegrounds is always going to work, or if it is something more like Dark Moon prizes. But I get the feeling this is just the way BG's is now. I don't think we're ever going to lose our buddies.
Well, it's part of the big BG refresh, and in the past those have been things like Quillboard, Dragons, Pirates, etc. So yeah, I read to me, I'm reading this as this is permanent.
This is it. Yeah.
That's how I took this.
Well,
now, I'm sure if it was a massive issue, I'm certain they'll do something about it, and including to like just nuclear option, get rid of buddies. Bad buddies. Get the buddies out of there.
That's a bad buddy.
That's a very bad buddy. But I don't think so. I think they're going to... sorry, go ahead.
Different mechanics, though, like... They do this every year in Hearthstone. We don't have Highlander cards every year. We don't have quests every year. We don't have Galakron every year. It doesn't have to be permanent. It's clearly like they invest a lot of mechanical energy, but that spot could turn into something else on the board next year. They could do a different mechanic that goes there. It could be a different meter. It could be just something else. They're experimenting. It's kind of like what they're doing with BG Esports, right? The BG Esports announcement is, hey, we're doing BG Esports. We'll let you know what we figure out. And this could very easily just be a mechanic that turns into something else. I like the buddies, especially the ones Sosa revealed today. They're cuties. I want to keep them around. But this could easily be a different mechanic in a year's time from now. And then the buddies go away, kind of like, again, Dark Moon prizes. That we didn't expect those to be permanent, but if they had been in the game for a year, we would have figured it out.
Yeah.
I feel like they gave us an end date with that announcement.
For Dark Moon prizes, I believe they did. Yeah. And they gave us one for Diablo 2, and then they decided that we needed more pain. But Dark Moon prizes, they did tell us that there was an end date on it. So no, again, this is also Dark Moon prizes was not part of like
the grand scheme.
Dark Moon prizes was not part of the big like refresh. That was like kind of a mid-cycle event.
They hadn't even done refreshes yet by that point. Like, that was their first attempt, because we might forget how young BG's is. This is about the time into Standard's duration. Before it was Standard. Back then it was just Hearthstone.
It was just Hearthstone, yeah.
It's pre-COVID.
It was play.
It was play, yeah.
It's pre-COVID, so it's at least 10 years old.
It's true. Yeah. It's both 10 years old and also still March 2020 somehow. But it's been just a little over 2 years since we first even got to play BGs. It was in beta until this year.
Which
6
is
months
funny,
ago.
because it feels beta-y to be like, we're going to add this whole other new mechanic.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah. But I don't know. It feels like they're still just kind of just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. And this looks like I might hang out in this wall for a while. I don't know.
I just want to play with buddies. Can we
I
all
think overall it looks like a really neat mechanic.
Can we all just join the server tomorrow? Can we do that Can we all play it?
That'd be fun.
Can we all play
No, we
it?
have to wait till next Tuesday, Garrett.
Man, next Tuesday, that seems like a really special day.
It's Garrett's birthday.
I don't want to talk about it.
I was talking about because of the patch. What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm getting so far and above any age that was ever mentioned in a Blink-182 song. So yeah, it's, you know, I'm making peace, y'all. You might say birthday. I call it making peace with mortality day. That's what I call it. Anyways, let's take a look at the new heroes, because there's a couple of them. And then we'll just kind of journey around the buddy bunker, unless someone can come up with a better name. But we're getting Brucon. Speaking of bees, we got Brucon as a new hero, and Brucon's got a Brucon buddy. But Brucon's hero power is called Embrace the Elements. It's going to cost you 0 gold to use this hero power. And it reads, choose an element, start of combat, call upon that element. And there is one for water, lightning, fire, and earth. I now want to go watch The Last Airbender, the real one, not what Shyamalan did. And all of these powers look good. Like water invocation is give your right most minion +3 health and taunts. Lightning is deal 1 damage to 5 random enemy minions. Fire is double your leftmost minions attack, and earth is they're all start of combat. Give 4 random friendly minions death rattle. Summon a 1/1 elemental. These look like spicy hero powers to me. They're spicy options for your spicy hero power.
These seem too powerful, honestly. For 0 gold, that means you can do this literally the very first combat.
Oh yeah, you're winning turn 1 every time.
Like, every single time.
But a lot of heroes are really good. Like I do expect the turn 1 situation, but maybe I don't know if you beat Alec here. Like I don't know if you beat that. I don't know if you beat there's a lot of really good heroes now.
Well,
yeah,
like if you start of combat, deal 1 damage to. So is it 1 damage to 5, or is it like arcane missiles, like 5 missiles shot out?
It's 5 unique minions, is my understanding. Okay. So turn 1, if there's one, or you're like worst case, you're going up against someone like N'Zoth or Curator, then okay, you get 2 for your trouble, but. Mileage is still going to vary on that. This just seems crazy. But to me, it looks like
an early game power.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like it falls off after the mid game. However, then you've got your buddy, Spirit Raptor, because you're just like, man, these invocations were really cool, but if only I could do them more than once or they grew in power for the mid to late game. Well, in comes your buddy, Spirit Raptor, which is a 3/2, not a beast, just a Spirit Raptor. And reads, after you call upon a new element, this remembers it. Death rattle, call upon those elements. And it was explained in RDU's reveal that Brucon's buddy stacks those death rattles and then also doubles the stacked death rattles on the golden version. So Spirit Raptor scares me more than the hero power scares me.
Yeah, because you could have like 5 or 6 elements stacked up in his death rattle, right? Like you get basically 1 per turn because it's each time you use your hero power. But yeah, this is a good little buddy.
I'm surprised they went with Spirit Raptor, not with Brucon's sister Sue. Sukon, D's nuts.
Wow.
Oh my God, that was a reach. Get out.
Wow. That's a rare miss.
Come on. That's going to be the title of the episode right there.
Listen, man, I want to go watch Boba Fett. So whatever you do with the blog post after this episode is up to you.
Apparently, Celestalon is clarifying in chat that it's not 5 or 6 elements. You get 4, so no duplicates.
Oh, so it collects them. It doesn't
water,
stack
lightning,
them.
Fire, and earth, and then so if you do fire every single time,
new element. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't just like octuple the left minion if you get fire a few times. Yeah. Okay.
Still afraid of this. Who else did we get? We got Vandar Stormpike, whose hero power is going to cost you 0 gold as well. It's called Lead the Stormpikes. You choose a friendly minion. It copies the health of your highest health minion for next combat only. And Vandar's buddy is Stormpike Lieutenant, 4/7 3-tier minion. Tier 3 minion? With Avenge 2.
Tier 3, yep.
Yeah. Avenge 2, give your minions +1 health permanently.
Yay, more Avenge.
Yeah,
okay.
Vandar.
I'm curious about the vibes around Avenge because I've heard a lot of discussion from people saying like that it feels overtuned right now. I'm not wired into understanding this. Is Avenge problematic? Does it feel problematic?
Yeah, there's a couple of things going on in BGs right now that aren't great. That you kind of end up either building super huge minions or doing a reborn poisonous board, and it does start to feel kind of crappy when you build this whole big board and your opponent can literally sell everything that they've done over the course of the game and just put a whole bunch of 1/1s and then your stuff all dies. So that's kind of a not great end game that we've morphed into, that the meta kind of has morphed into. But also the Avenge minions themselves are very powerful. There's a lot of strategies and curves that revolve around them now. And in certain lobbies, in a lot of lobbies, I should say, definitely more often than not, it's better to just kind of triple up into a 4. And if you get the Avenge minion, you're in a great spot. And if you don't, you're kind of screwed. So they are kind of, I guess polarizing might be the best word for Avenge right now. In that, in some lobbies, it's just crazy. But yeah, it's not the healthiest mechanic, or at least it needs some tuning, I think.
It's snowbally. I mean, we've already had a snowball discussion today. And I think that accurately represents finding value Avenge minions early.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny too because there's what the Avenge that gives you battle cries. I still think that one is like hot garbage, but
that gives you a whole lot of money because you can also, if you get a good what's basically called an Avenge board, so you get the acolytes, which are the 2/2 taunts that are reborn on turn 1. You get the tokeny minions and all that kind of stuff. Then you have a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't do anything but die. And when all you want your board to do is die so that you get a handful of minions that, again, you don't care about, they're just basically money. You want to print money. Like, it's such a weird mid-game experience. It's like, okay, you guys all suck and I just want you to die. And I'm doing that so I can print money. It's a weird mid-game.
I think it's very cool. I like roundabout economy plays, and I would like them to exist in some form. But like you've touched on so many things, and we have so much new stuff to talk about. But
yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're like, you want to trigger me in Battlegrounds right now? Mention Acolyte of Cthulhu. Can we just get rid of that minion? Like, it is so good. It is so amazing. It's one of the best designed minions in the history of Battlegrounds. The Hall of Fame that just put it in a frame, hang it up at Blizzard HQ, and get it the shit out of my lobby. It's so good.
Yeah. It is very good. Yeah.
I'm so sick of drafting it almost literally every game, and it's sticking around for a
and because it doesn't have a tribe, it's in every single lobby, so that plays into it too. So yeah. But yeah, so Avenge itself, Avenge is a cool mechanic. It just, I think, needs maybe some balance because we also got another hero that has an Avenge buddy, Drekthar.
Yes, thank you for just moving us right along there. Drekthar is here. So
Vandar does health on the. Wait, so hold on. The Vandar.
I'm sorry. Are we trying to move along and you're bringing us back to Vandar?
Okay, I like the symmetry. The Vandar one is a 4/7 that Avenge 2 give your minions +1 health permanently. The Drekthar one is a 7/4 that Avenge 2 gives your minions +1 attack permanently. This is Horde versus Alliance. I love this.
Yep.
Oh my god.
You pick Horde every time and be aggressive.
I'm pretty sure I want health more than I want attack.
Yeah, definitely. Like 100%. Again, the Alliance minion's the better one.
Ugh.
Hey,
indeed. Unless, you are playing an Avenge build, so you do want your stuff to die. So maybe the Alliance one isn't.
Yeah. Listen, it's fair and balanced, all right? Because, they write your Horde leaders as such great leading characters in the MMO. So, yeah. No, Drekthor and Vandar, like, I know I'm going to play them and I'll probably have a good time. There's something about just like, oh, you get health, you get attack. It doesn't really excite me. It's not the kind of thing that I get super stoked on. But I'm already looking at Vandar going, I know I'm going to have some good games with you, but I'm not excited about it. I'm just going to make some people really mad with that Stormpike Lieutenant. I know that's going to happen. And then we got Tavish as well. We got Tavish, hero power is Deadeye, going to cost you guessed it, 0 gold. It reads, take aim, start of combat, deal 1 damage to your target, upgrade each turn. And then your whole...
At first I was like, are you going to hold up the entire combat phase to aim this? What is this even going to be?
Yeah, it's clever the way they've done it. So essentially you click this and then you're going to like discover where you're aiming. And it's aim left, aim low, aim high, or aim right. And aim left deals 1 damage to the leftmost enemy minion. Aim right does the same thing, but you guess it, so the rightmost enemy minion. And then aim low goes after the one with the lowest health, and aim high goes after the one with the highest health. And
it just passively scales every turn, right?
Yes, that's my understanding, because it says it right there, upgrades each turn. I said some kind of mean things about the mercenaries and how I think some of them are a little on the generic side. And I think none more perfectly exemplifies generic ass Warcraft character than Tavish. Boy, did they come to play with the theming on this. I love this hero power. It is so cool.
It is really cool. I like that it just kind of passively gets better and scales with the game. But then you've got like you're rewarding game knowledge in the same kind of way that Brucon does. Because if you look at, you know, your opponent and what they're playing and how many of each minion type not how many of each minion type they have, but like when you hover over their hero and it says, you know, like beasts 4 or something, so you can assume something else 3, you can kind of start to guess at what their comp might be, which then will tell you if you should be trying to kill the highest or lowest health, or if you should be going for the left or right to pop a shield or something. You know, it really starts to reward the player knowing what their opponents might be trying to do. So I really like both Tavish's design and Brucon's design, because I think they're both very similar.
Yeah, I agree. And we haven't even talked about the best part of Tavish, which is Tavish's buddy, Krabby.
Krabby with a mohawk.
Yes, it is a literal crab with a mohawk. It's
that almost actually gives me like Hungry Crab vibes with what he does.
Yeah, so it's a tier 3 5/3 beast that has a beast moniker, and it reads, after your hero power fires, give adjacent minion stats equal to the damage dealt. Yeah, this is Hungry Crab in Battlegrounds.
And the one thing I did want to mention, because it was a question that I had, and maybe it's just my crazy brain is why it went there, but because the buddies are minions, some of them do have minion types. So we did get clarification from a dev on Twitter that you don't have to worry about like some heroes not being offered based on their buddy's minion type, because, you know, you don't get Ysera in a lobby that doesn't have dragons. So these heroes that are kind of otherwise neutral won't be excluded from those battlegrounds, even though their buddies have a specific hero type or a specific minion type. So that does mean there won't be any other of that minion type in the lobby if it's banned, but there might be some cool synergies that you can do. And I mean, like, you could even think of it's another type for Amalgadon, you know? So there's potentially some interesting synergies with minion types you wouldn't otherwise see in a lobby.
Yeah, I like to think of it as like it's an extra little cherry on top if you end up.
Yeah, it's an extra thing to just think about.
Yeah, with Tavish, like if you end up with a lobby with beasts and you end up going a beast comp, then it's this little added bonus that your buddy is also a beast.
Your buddy's going to scale, yeah.
Yeah, but Tavish himself is not inherently a beast hero. So I'm glad they went this way. I think it's kind of cool, and it adds just a little bit of extra intrigue. And also I think about like someone taking a break from Battlegrounds, not seeing this, or maybe they did and they kind of glazed over because there's 75 new minions. and getting into a game with no beast, and Krabby comes down going, whoa, wait, hold up, that's got a beast tag, what's going on? And it's just this like environmental storytelling moment, and there's just I don't know, I didn't even think about it, and then you mentioned it in our Discord, and I was like, oh, this is actually a lot cooler than I thought. Like I'm geeking out over it. I don't know, can you tell? Does it seem like I'm geeking?
Yeah, I'm on the fence about whether I would rather have them removed from the potential pool, because we had the conversation a couple weeks ago about whether there just are too many Battlegrounds heroes, period. Because I'm always up for whatever gives the most variety, whether that's just mixing up hero pools the way we mix up minion pools, like just, anything that makes things a little bit more flexible. But yeah, so anyways, that's the way they went with it. We'll see how it plays out. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's all cool. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, someone's mentioning what's the pig in Quobors, because that's a beast.
Agamagan.
Agamagan. Yeah, Agamagan.
Aga made up name.
Yeah.
Well, and like Megasaur was bundled with Murlocs. It's not just a flat tribe filter. It's they just make curated buckets and then just rotate things with the buckets.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. So, all right. What buddy do you want to talk about? And I will do my best to try and find it to show on screen.
Okay, so it's on the day one post. I wanted to point out Tess, because you had mentioned. Oh, back up.
Where's Tess? Oh, I did.
Tess,
sorry.
yeah, Tess. Because you mentioned off the top that each hero has a unique buddy, and that the buddies are only available to their respective heroes. But then we get Tess, who says at the start of your turn, add your last opponent's buddy to your hand. So it's like every hero gets their own buddy, asterisk, unless you're Tess, and then you get everybody's buddy.
Well, also, Scabs is going nowhere.
And yeah, Scabs is still a thing. Yeah, there are, and Rafam.
Murazond.
Yeah, Murazond exists in Dragon lobbies. Yeah,
do some BS like this.
Murazond staying in Battlegrounds, because I think with the buddies, maybe don't.
Well, some of them are going to be absolutely useless, though. Like, imagine you get Spirit Raptor.
Synergize with the hero power. Yeah, so if you
that is another reason to not have Murazond.
Yeah. Yeah, Spirit Raptor would be bad. Krabby'd be terrible. I guess Hunter of Old would be delayed. Like, oh, I got Hunter of Old. I guess we'll try again and see if I get a buddy that's worth a damn.
If I were them, I would make Murazond not in Battlegrounds, because the high roll and low roll potential seems horrendous.
That's fair.
I think it's cool enough. It's it sounds like you're playing Murazond without Bran, and you should probably just draft Bran. You get 2 chances, and
yes. The advanced recommendation, just have a Bran. I would like that, Garrett. I would like to have a Bran quite frequently.
Listen, if you're
to me to have, instead of 1 battle cry, I like to have 2.
I mean, I was mostly making a joke. If you're drafting Bran just to Murazond, you're probably not doing very well. But yeah.
So I just wanted to point Tess out from day one reveals, based solely on the fact that she gets literally your buddy, not even a chance at something from your board, but your buddy.
Yeah.
She's coming for it.
Yeah. I'm really excited about Hooktusk's Raging Contender. Trash for Treasures offers 3 options instead of 2.
More options for Discover is always better.
Yes, please, and thank you.
I'd like to point out Patchwork's buddy, Weebomination.
Yep.
Because it's a very small abomination. I like the name.
Yeah, but it's just going to get shortened to Weeb, right?
It's Weeb.
I do. Also why I like it.
Weebomination.
Not because I'm a weeb, just because I think this is fun.
Weebomination has very strong opinions about original run Dragon Ball Z versus Kai.
I don't understand that reference, but I am certain that you do and would love to tell me about it. So let's move on to the next one.
Watch Kai instead. Yeah. What else do we want to pull out?
That's it for me for day 1. I have some day 2 thoughts.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Dance and Daryl.
Mm.
See that guy Asher? See that guy Asher the Haberdasher? You see him? I like his hat.
Well, it's a good thing because he's going to share additional hats with himself.
No, he keeps them.
Yeah.
Yes.
He just keeps piling top hat on top of top hat.
Yes. It's like Team Fortress 2.
So many hats.
Maybe.
And the Hat Man, Matt Dixon, drew this art. And he has a whole bunch of famous Hearthstone hats in the background. Full art's fantastic. I don't have anything of substance to add to the show, but I like the hats.
I think I see a purple hat back there. Just saying.
You do. It belongs to, I think, Mad Hatter, the minion.
We're just gonna assume it's a nod.
Yes.
No, we're gonna assume it's a hat tip.
Yeah.
I've been hanging out with you too long.
That full art is really cool.
It's really fun, yeah.
Oh, there's full art. Oh, it's we're going there. I didn't mean to.
Oh, we're going. It's happening.
It opened in this. Thank you, Chad. Yeah, this
Look
is
at that.
Great. Oh, that's
You
very
got Reno's
good.
hat. Top left is a Noyotron.
Oh,
You've
right.
got- Yep. You got the chef hat.
This is great
Yeah.
audio.
Yeah. It's people listening right now. Go look at the hats. Go do
Yeah,
it.
you need to go to twitter.com/MattDixonArt.
Good
to see
man,
what
that
we're seeing.
good man, that Matt Dixon. Oh wait, this is not.
He
Nope.
does some of my favorite stuff in Hearthstone. It's always so colorful and fun.
He's got such a darn good style. All right, there's no way we're getting out of this without talking about Skycap and Crag's buddy, Sharkbait, a tier 4/4/2 beast. It's a parrot, but Sharkbait has a battle cry that reads, "Refresh your hero power." So that's very exciting. You know who it's
Yes.
really, really, really exciting for?
Reno!
Scabs.
Hmm.
And
That seems
Reno.
good.
It'd be harder for
Basically-
Reno to steal it.
Yeah. Basically, we're talking like Murazon shenanigans if Reno gets this. Like, that's a very super high rolly lobby, and good on the Reno for making that happen. But yeah, anyone that has a hero power that you're not really intended to use more than a few times, if they can get their hands on Sharkbait, they're happy.
Yeah. So if you find so Scabs is. Oh my God! Is Scabs Discover? Scabs is Discover, right? Or do you just get one?
Yes.
Oh my God! Why
Is it?
can't I remember
I
what
don't
Scabs
know. I
does
don't
off
think
the
I've
top of my
ever
head?
played a Scabs game.
I need to know now. I need to know how difficult this is to pull off.
2 gold. Discover a plain copy of a minion
Discover,
from your
okay.
next opponent's world.
Yep,
Yeah, just Discover, yep.
So you have a chance of tripling this in a single turn as Scabs. There's a chance at least.
Yes, because you could hero power, get Sharkbait, play Sharkbait, hero power, get Sharkbait, play Sharkbait, hero power, get it to triple it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of 2. That's why I was like, I know it's not like a usual Discover. It's a Discover from 2.
Yeah, it's a littler one.
So if they have a full board, you got to get a little lucky. Also, like, I don't know. If I'm playing Sharkbait, I'm like thinking, like, am I going to get Scabs? I think I'm just selling my Sharkbait.
Yeah. It's worth noting as well, we do have clarification on the mechanics of how this works with Crag, the hero that, he comes
It's
with.
meant to work with.
Yes. The gold keeps incrementing whether you've pressed the button or not. So you press the button on 8 gold, and the next turn you play a Sharkbait, the button gives you 9 and keeps going to 10 and 11, 12. I think, caps at 10 because this is not Gallywix. But it doesn't reset to 1. It just keeps going. So you can use this for 8 gold and then press it and get 9 the next turn, then use the next 2 Sharkbaits or whatever for 10 again. Like, you can keep doing that.
That's pretty fancy.
It's very exciting, yeah. All right, I'm gonna start scrolling and yell. Who else?
I'm done with day 1s. So
We're on day 2. This is day 2.
Oh, this is day 2. Oh,
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about anything.
We're on day 2. I like Omu's because I Omu's good. I have got a great win rate with him. I find him so boring. But Evergreen Botany, a tier 4, 7/6 minion reads at the end of your turn, add a random minion to your tavern tier of your tavern tier to your hand. It's just Omu is just this straightforward, boring value master, and I'm here for it. It's great.
Can we look at Finley?
Need to find Finley.
There he is.
Wait, did I go past Finley? There's Finley. Sir Finley Murgleton. Maxwell Mighty Steed, that the buddy you want to talk about?
Yeah. It's a beetle, but it's a mighty steed. I like that. I like there's equal opportunity in steeds.
Did you
Don't
want
have
to
just be a horse?
did you want to talk about
Yeah,
the
that was
power?
all I had to add. I guess so. Add the buddy of your hero power to your hand. Oh, because it's a flex buddy.
It is.
So it's a
but
double
then-
buddy.
So yeah, it's basically two minions, right? Because you get the one that you play that you can sell for gold, and the other minion in your hand. So this is potentially an economy play, if not a super powerful buddy that's going to go with your hero power. So there's a couple of things going on here with Finley.
Yeah, and it's a 1/1 that adds one buddy. I imagine the golden is a 2/2 that adds 2 copies. So you could theoretically get a double golden that way, but that means you have to leave the 1/1 in play. I like that push and pull there. That like you have to kind of commit to waiting a little bit with a bad minion in play if you want to double it up, and it doesn't have any effect after you play it. So it's I don't know. I like the push and pull there. That it's either a full value play where like you just hold the other ones or whatever, or you can theoretically hold onto this and you end up with a lot of copies.
Mm-hmm. Actually, like while we're on this page, a couple of the ones I wanted to point out are actually here. So Reno's a little bit higher. But yeah, Reno, Elise, and Finley were all part of one reveal. But Reno's is ridiculous. So Reno's is a 7/3 that when it dies, it turns your rightmost minion golden. Like, really good stats, probably gonna die, and then you just get a golden. Now, your rightmost minion, especially in this meta, and I'm not saying that, this meta is going to stay exactly the same, but if the Avenge stuff remains untouched, your rightmost minion is probably, say, a Dazzling Light Spawn, or maybe potentially the Nest Matron, or Nestmatron, depending on how you choose to pronounce that.
Nestmatron, I believe, is the mech version of that minion.
Yes.
Yeah. But this is in combat, so it wouldn't be permanent.
It is not permanent, but it still could be
would
extremely
still
impactful.
Work the way, yeah, exactly. It's still going to make your Avenge minion golden, which then is going to give you a gajillion minions in your hand or stats or
Listen, I would be very happy for a temporarily golden Baron Rivendare in a lot of occasions.
And it's a minion on your board, right? So it's going to come back. It's not like this is a one turn only deal. Like
this is interesting.
Yeah. So not for your tavern phase, but for all your combat phases, it's essentially, going to play out the same.
Temporary nature.
Assuming it dies.
Yeah, the temporary nature
temporary
of it.
Golden is funky.
Yeah.
It's very cool, right? It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, my note for Reno
you have
is
a
just
Rivendare already. If you have a Rivendare already and it's far right, it becomes golden twice.
Can we get
nothing?
Listen, I have a really
but it's fun.
It's tiny.
I have an extremely reasonable request of the art team. Could we get diamond versions of literally every minion in Hearthstone Battlegrounds for when Baron shenanigans happens with Tomb Diver? Please. So you double golden and it makes it diamond. There's no extra effect. I just want it to look cooler.
It's so reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that is.
Yeah.
This is.
You got Microsoft money now. Come on.
Yeah, just make everything diamonds with all of your Microsoft money.
Yeah, what are you doing? Think of all the money you're going to save when you're not buying Kotick yachts anymore.
So, if you're not hitting an Avenge minion or Rivendare, what are you hitting? Like, I'm trying to think about the different possibilities with Tomb Diver. Avenge, yeah, I follow the Avenge thing now. Because I wasn't like, I follow that. With like SI7 or whatever. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, SI7 is another.
Murloc. Dude, oh my God, Murlocs. If you've got your poison giver over there, suddenly he's dishing out double poison.
He does it, he gives it twice, so then you have to hang on to him for less combat because he himself isn't that strong, right? Like the strength of SI7 comes from the fact that he grants poison to the rest of your board. So if you can do that in 2 turns instead of 3 or 4, then
yeah, Tony
you're
or
gonna
Eliza
be able to get stronger faster. Yeah.
Yeah, it says Chad. That's a good point. Yeah, the pirates. There's
There's pirate options. Yeah.
There's good stuff in most compositions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and usually you're hiding stuff behind taunts on the right side of your board, right? That you want to live forever. So it's not even like you have to make some sort of sacrifice by saying like the 3rd minion or the put it over to the left or something. It's
even like
it's a lot more controllable on the right.
Yeah, like your mid game stuff, like your soul jugglers, your mechano tanks, the dragon that does damage first when another dragon attacks.
Pyro spawn.
Thank you. I never know the name of that thing. It looks like a furry doing a dragon cosplay. But all of those get more powerful with like being golden, so you can and again it's temporary, and this minion stays, and so like if you get one mid game, you can get that mid game power spike, and then late game replace it with your barons or your Elizas or your big late game bombs. It's just chef's kiss. What a design. So good. I can't wait to play right now.
So interesting. AFK is actually one I wanted to mention just because this is the one that kind of made me go around the buddy bar system. Because so her buddy is at the end of your turn, you give your tavern tier 3, so very specific, tavern tier 3 minions +1/+1. So kind of small on the stats side. And depending on how it is a tier 2 minion, so now we know that those bars fill up faster. But it kind of makes me go like, if she's not doing anything, is her meter going to be filled up enough to get this in a timely manner? It works with her hero power in that she gets 2 tier 3 minions. But am I going to be able to play this in the same turn? Am I going to have to wait a couple of combats to get +1/+1? That doesn't seem great. AFK's already struggling. Like she's a pretty bottom tier hero in pretty much every lobby. So yeah, this one gave me eyebrow raises.
This one seems bad to me.
Like
off the bat. And
my instinct here is that this will be your 3rd minion when your hero power pops. That's my instinct here.
I think that's what it needs to be.
You've got it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you have to have earned it by then. But if you're not doing, if the only thing you're doing to progress your buddy bar is entering combat, then are you even going to have him to play on that same turn? Because I agree, if you just get a 5/4 body and you're getting +1/+1 on whatever your 2 tier 3 minions are that you're choosing as part of your hero power, then, that helps shore up her weakness, which is that she doesn't do anything for 2 turns. But if you haven't done enough with your whole not doing anything thing to get your buddy, then what good is it to you if you can't play it that turn? Because you're already behind, right? And especially with armor going away, at least while they figure out what the balance of Battlegrounds looks like with the addition of buddies, I'm kind of like, is anyone even going to pick her? Like, you might as well just say like, okay, AFK, you can just like rotate out for now.
This doesn't make sense in the context of buddies unless passing turn twice is enough for a tavern tier 2 hero.
Yeah, which
on AFK to enter play.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that this is designed to always be in your hand on turn 3 with your 2 tavern 3 minions. I'm going to guess that.
So.
Not confirmed, not coming from anywhere, but I'm going to guess that. So maybe not, maybe it is, but it seems like it would make a lot of sense for this to just pop up when you need it, which is turn 3. That's what I would guess. If it doesn't, she's terrible. So whatever, we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. But yeah, she was the one that when I saw hers, I was like, but if I'm doing nothing and everyone else is doing something, what about my buddy bar?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, or do we want to?
I had one more, Garrett. Don't be mad. I know that we're going longish and we still have Microsoft to talk about, but I did want to talk about Mr. Bigglesworth.
Will take more than 5 minutes.
Yes, I'm so sorry. How could I forget? Let's talk about Bigglesworth. Little KT. You want to talk about little KT?
Yeah, little Lil KT, because
Yeah.
I feel like this is a really good example of shoring up a weakness of a hero that you as a player didn't really have a lot of control over. So, Garrett, can you read it for me? Because the text is too small on your video.
My bad. Yeah, Lil
Okay,
KT.
I just haven't scrolled to it and I didn't want to wait.
Lil KT is tier 2, 5/2. At the start of your turn, get a plain minion from your lowest health opponent's warband.
Right. So one problem that I found when I would play Bigglesworth, well, it's kind of all the same problem, but would manifest in different ways, is either I would get into lobbies where people would like concede right away and then you don't get anything. Or you'd get people who were super mad that they were losing and they'd sell everything on their board so that when they died, you wouldn't get anything. And again, that's totally out of your control as Bigglesworth. And then it was really hard to kind of like start your snowball. And it is a very snowbally hero, and you have to play the entire game, especially now with damage cap having people live longer. Then, you know, it became really, really difficult to make this hero work. So I think that having a point in the game, and this is a tavern 2, a tier 2 minion, so you're going to get it pretty early, and then I'm assuming the next versions you're going to get pretty early too. It kind of shores up that early game and gives you something to do related to your hero power by just giving you whoever's like still in the lobby with the lowest health. You get some of their stuff, which, you know, it just shores up that weakness in a real good way. And I'm excited now to play as a kitty, because I'm a kitty gamer. I really like I pick Bigglesworth every single time it's offered, all the time, just because. And, you know, like a good 60 to 70% of my lobbies just purposely screw me over.
Well, you know, there's one more we need to talk about. There's no way we're getting out of this without talking about Cthulhu's member.
That art, though.
Yeah, it's
something.
It's Freudian. Yeah. Tentacle of Cthulhu is Cthulhu's buddy. Tier 2, 1/1. That reads, after a different friendly minion gains stats, gain +1/+1 until your next turn. So not only is it phallic, but it grows. This is a star of our pre-show today. That's literally the only reason I'm mentioning it. And that good theming. Good theming. And for the rest of the episode, I will be a Cthulhu. Not really. All right. I mean, that's it, right? There's absolutely nothing else. Nothing earth-shattering to discuss. I mean,
we're only at an hour 15, but we should probably just call it a show.
Yeah, we probably should. I'd like to thank.
Wait, I can think of one thing we should talk about.
What's that?
This week's sponsor?
This week's sponsor. Garrett figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah. This week we are sponsored by Our Other Stuff. Joce, what's up?
So I don't know if you guys realize this, but I've been podcasting for 10 years now. And
my goodness.
Yeah, the very first show that I ever started just hit episode 500 this week. So I would like to point everybody over to my general gaming podcast called The Gamers Inn. We just recorded episode 500 last night. It was a lot of fun. We had listeners send in their favorite clips, like some from all the way back on like episode 53. I'm like, I don't want to listen to Joce right now, let alone 9 years ago, Joce, but you know. So we did some guessing games about which games we were trying to describe in those clips. We talked about some of our favorite moments from the show and our favorite games and things like that. So, and then obviously we discussed the big gaming news of the week, which we here at TAC are going to discuss momentarily. So if all of that sounds kind of interesting to you, go check out Gamers Inn episode 500.
Freaking congrats. I did not realize that you hit this milestone. That's insane.
We've been pretty good. Over the past 10 years, we've only missed about 20 episodes. So
that's consistent.
Yeah. It's basically 1 to 2 episodes a year. We ended up skipping because we actually started, I think, in late October 2011. So
wow.
Yeah.
Damn. What about you, Hat? You have any monumental occasions you would like to promote?
Yes, I was the person who, before the show, found the art for Cthulhu's tentacle. So that's really special. And I was able to share that with the world. So you're welcome, and I'm sorry. I don't know.
Hat literally sliding into DMs, sending tentacle pics.
It's that.
Oh God,
you're not wrong, and I don't love that it can be accurately summarized that way. Yeah, why don't we just move on to what Garrett has to talk about? I think that's probably best for everyone.
Yeah, you should check out Grinding Gear over at youtube.com/AMoveTV. I just made it to Heaven's Ward in Final Fantasy XIV. And if you want to hear a complete noob Final Fantasy idiot talk about his experience, first time ever going through that MMO, which I am really enjoying after talking mad shit about it for a year, check that out. youtube.com/AMoveTV. Also, Let's Talk About Star Wars is back. That's at patreon.com/Let's Talk About Star Wars. So check that out. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. I got no more jokes. We already played the news bumper. I guess we play it again? Sure, why not?
Good news, everyone!
If you've been living under a literal rock, Microsoft is acquiring Activision Blizzard for a whopping total of $68.7 billion. Because they, for some reason, wanted to deny all of us making 69 jokes.
They came so close.
Yeah, it was almost perfect. And I am not, of course, talking about 69 jokes. I'm talking about the fact that it was almost perfect because, unfortunately, Kotick is staying as CEO for now.
Yes.
For now.
Which
For now.
was, I think, kind of expect. There's a lot of what is transpiring here that's kind of expected outside of the news itself. I don't think anyone, from the reactions on Twitter yesterday morning, I don't think anyone saw this coming. This acquisition is huge. It is the biggest in gaming history by about tenfold. The last time we were talking about huge gaming acquisitions was Microsoft for Bethesda, which was around $7 billion. And that was like, what, 6 to 8 months ago? So this is an unprecedented occurrence for sure.
I would like to remind everybody that Disney bought all of Star Wars. All of it. All the Star Wars you can buy for $4 billion.
Yeah. And didn't they buy Marvel for like 10 or 12 or something?
I thought that was also around 4.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, you got to remember when they bought Marvel, it wasn't really worth much.
Yeah, no, Marvel wasn't Marvel. That's sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like DC
Marvel
currently.
wasn't Marvel as we know it today.
Yeah. It was 2009 and it was $4 billion.
Hey,
Oh, wow.
cool. I wasn't crazy about that. Yeah. So yeah, this is nuts. You're absolutely, Joce. I love that you point. You're like, yeah, it kind of seems like a surprise to everybody. Like nobody. I feel like most of the folks we follow on Twitter that work at Blizzard, they don't have the best Twitter poker faces. They tend to like make little jokes or post eyeball emojis when something gets announced that they clearly knew about. My favorite thing was probably our friend of the show, Slissa, tweeting at Dean saying, "Hey, when is are we gonna get Hearthstone on the Xbox now? Because I'd love to play Battlegrounds on the couch." And Dean immediately replying with, "No, that's never gonna happen. What are you talking about?"
He
and then
just replied with no.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even any explanation. He was like, "What is this shenanigans, Slissa? No."
And then an immediate follow up that says, "Okay, I just read the news. Maybe I don't know." Just the real-time play-by-play of that was just one of I have a lot of reasons to wish Twitter was never made. That is not one of them.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that in terms of the actual acquisition announcement and the money that we're talking about here, that was definitely surprising to pretty much everybody, employees and industry folk alike. But I think since then, the things that we have heard, particularly about Kotick staying on for now, as well as what he potentially stands to gain when he leaves, like all of this kind of stuff. This is basically playing out as expected. Now that we know this is a thing.
Yeah, which I can't help but think of that Phil Spencer quote from back when the lawsuit broke, where he was like, "We're reevaluating our relationship with Activision Blizzard," which I guess was you know what, we don't really want to work with you anymore, but we like your game, so we're just gonna buy your ass so you leave, and that's the vibe I'm getting. That and a little bit of a disingenuity, but corporate America.
So should we go over what was in the official news release then to catch everybody up if they have been living under a rock?
Yeah, I mean there's a lot here, but it's happening, and it sounds like the deal is not going to close until next year. So
so it's supposed to close in, I believe, Microsoft's fiscal year for 2023, which ends in June. So we've got about 18 months before this is going to be completely finalized. So they, from all kind of reports of people familiar with the situation, Bobby's basically going to stick around until this is done because they wanted some semblance of normalcy and continuity. I'm like, I think we could actually get rid of him and the employees would be a lot happier. But, in the end, the Activision Blizzard business is going to report to Phil Spencer, who has had his title changed from Executive VP of Gaming at Microsoft to CEO of Microsoft Gaming. So slight change there. But whoever ends up being in charge of the Activision Blizzard holdings and business will report to Phil. So there will no longer be a CEO of Activision Blizzard. Read into that as you may.
Yep. And there are 293 million reasons why Bobby is staying. Because in his contract, if he is dismissed as part of a takeover, he gets a $293 million paycheck. That's not what's going to happen. He's going to leave. I'm holding up really loud air quotes, on his own terms after the ink dries. But it's illegal for Microsoft to have any dealings with the company right now because that 12 to 18 month period is all due to regulatory approval. Microsoft cannot have any say in the deal. If the deal does not pass, then that would be, not anything you can do. So in the meantime, things are going to continue somewhat as expected at Activision Blizzard, or at ABK. But of course, knowing this deal is coming, things are a little different. Gonna be, regulatory process, and Bobby gonna go, but nothing can happen for a little while until it all passes through all the red tape.
Yeah. And there were a couple of assurances in that official news release from Microsoft. So it went up both on the Microsoft page and on the Xbox page, and basically saying that they are going to offer as many Activision Blizzard games as they can within the Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass ecosystem, which is really interesting. It's going to include new titles and games from Activision's existing catalog. And also in this post, they told us that Game Pass has more than 25 million subscribers, which is quite a lot of people for a paid gaming service. So Game Pass is really kind of shoring up their offerings, and kind of remains to be seen whether that's good or bad for the industry. But they also talked about how basically Activision Blizzard's titles are enjoyed on a variety of platforms, and they're going to continue to support those communities moving forward. I'm going to tag a big asterisk on this because they said a very similar thing about Bethesda. ESO is still available on multiple platforms, but we're seeing exclusivity for the next Elder Scrolls single player title as well as Starfield. So I feel like there's hope for existing properties and things, but anything new that they develop under Activision Blizzard is probably going to be exclusive, but that's kind of a conversation for another day. But what really go ahead, Garrett.
I was gonna say I think there's a little they're hoping that Sony caves and it's like, all right, Game Pass, bring it over here because we can't figure this out. PS Plus is garbage. And
in comparison, it kind of is.
It's not even close. Yeah. Mine just renewed for the year, and I was like, oh, shit, I should have canceled that because I don't use it.
That happens to me every
bad.
year.
It is not a good service. It is not worth the money. Yep. But neither here nor there. I think that's the moonshot. I think it's like, yeah, let's wear down Sony and maybe Nintendo. I don't know. Most games can't run on that hardware anyway, so it probably doesn't matter. But yeah, that's kind of where my head's at. So like, I think at a certain point, if they have their way, like exclusivity will be in big air quotes, because if you eventually break down you sledgehammer down the Sony wall and get Game Pass over there, it won't really matter. And there's also a part of my brain that goes, if it's an online game, like in the way of like an MMO, like a game as a service, I think you are more incentivized to have that on as many platforms as you possibly can versus a single player experience like a traditional Bethesda game.
Yes, yeah, very much so. And I think the kind of elephant in this room right now, obviously, is all of the harassment and all of the lawsuits and the kind of culture at Activision Blizzard that has been kind of brought to the forefront over the last 8 to 9 months. And Xbox/Phil/ whoever wrote this blog post really kind of took that head on, to the point that I'm just going to read the statement verbatim. They said, as a company, Microsoft is committed to our journey for inclusion in every aspect of gaming among both employees and players. We deeply value individual studio cultures. We also believe that the creative success and autonomy go hand in hand with treating every person with dignity and respect. We hold all teams and all leaders to this commitment. We're looking forward to extending our culture of proactive inclusion to the great teams across Activision Blizzard. So I like that they addressed it. I like that they said, we know you've been doing your own thing, but this is how we do things, and get used to it. It's also, for what it's worth, they posted their leadership team at the bottom of their blog post, Xbox did. And 7 of their 12 members of the leadership team under Phil Spencer are women. So I think that, obviously I don't work there, but from what I have seen from just posts on social media from people who are members of Microsoft's gaming team, they very much enjoy the culture of working there. It is a very forward-thinking, proactive, inclusive environment. I've seen a lot of positivity around the culture at Microsoft. So again, for what it's worth, they seem to be, at least on the surface, inclusive, which I think is a good thing.
Something as well that really stands out to me that I think Microsoft deserves a shout out for, as far as companies, especially in the gaming space, that are focused on accessibility, there's basically nobody better than Microsoft. They've made, I don't know if everyone's aware of this, the adaptive controller is this incredible thing. It's a $100 controller that plays with the Xbox, and it's designed to work with external hookups and has giant adaptable buttons as well, and it works with switches and plugs and whatever.
I was saying, isn't it like modular?
It's modular. It's specifically designed for gamers with limited mobility. And it's just an example of one of the many ways that Microsoft prioritizes this stuff that a lot of other companies are kind of maybe aware of, but they don't know about as much or care about it as much. And when you have a company that places this kind of a priority on accessibility, it shows that they're all about inclusion as kind of a way of thinking. This doesn't happen by accident. This is the sort of thing that happens because it matters to somebody and it matters to them. So, cautious optimism?
Yeah, I think that's really where, I'm not all rah Microsoft. There are, potential downsides to this deal for sure. Obviously, there's been a lot of statements made that just make me make fists when it comes to, reasons why this is happening and stuff like that have been put forward specifically from the Kotick camp. But, in general, I feel cautious optimism towards this deal. This, made me feel pretty good for the first time in quite a long time when it comes to thinking about and talking about the business direction and the leadership at Activision Blizzard. So I think this is a good thing. The one thing that I want to the one really big concern is around unionization, because I think that there's a need for unionization in tech. It seems like there's a lot of problems that could be solved with unionization in tech. And the current employees at ABK have been pushing for that specifically. So it's also something they're interested in, which might go away with this acquisition and may not be the best in the long term, but we'll see.
It's definitely going to get in the way of that. I have no doubt in my mind about those efforts. But yeah, I'm very much where you two are in terms of like my gut reaction is positivity. Like I saw this. I mean, actually, my gut reaction was complete jaw on the floor. Like, holy shit,
yeah.
I didn't see this coming at all.
I thought I was reading it wrong. And I'm like, because my alarm went off at like 8:15, and this broke 10 minutes later, and I was like, what? Sleepy Jocelyn, no coffee yet.
I thought it was a hoax.
I think we just got bought.
You said it. Your Discord message was the first place I saw it, and I was literally, my gut reaction was to write back to you, for the love of God, Joce, read your sources before you send me this shit. Because I was just like, there's no way.
Some random dude on Reddit.
There's no way. I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh God, this is real. This is real. And it was instant. Like you sent it, and I went to Twitter. And I saw maybe 2 tweets, and then it was just a flood. It was like watching us. The fuse was lit, and then it hit the cinder box, and it was over.
And California wasn't awake yet. There were a couple of my friends that worked there that I mentioned. I was like,
California time when this post went live from Xbox.
I love that meme of the sleepy guy waking up. That's like one of my favorite memes, and I think that was a lot of people that day.
I messaged a couple people that worked there, and I was like, oh, good morning. And they were like, good morning to you too. And then 5 minutes later, oh. So no one that worked there outside of the C-suite had any clue this was happening either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to think about. We have been on a hell of a journey. We've seen a lot of shit in our time doing this show and our other various shows. We've seen a lot of shit being Blizzard fans that make content surrounding Blizzard games. And how many years have we been doing this show? Did we counted it? It was 2013 when we started?
10 months.
10 months?
Yes, 10 months. YouTube been here longer. Whatever.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, was it 2013 or 2014? I don't remember now, but it was in the fall.
Yeah, it was the end of 2013 because that's when the beta went live.
Okay,
so
yeah.
So
9 years. We're 8.5
9 years
years
this fall. Yeah. So we've been doing the show 8 years, and like it 100% started at at that peak of Blizzard fandom, and it started entirely as a fan show. And I mean, it is still a fan show, but like the ringer that my fandom has been put through and my understanding of the concept of fandom has been put through, it's been a lot. And this is an inward moment. This is me talking about my personal journey, and I realize other people have been affected much stronger and much harsher ways. But I'm maybe a fan of 2 other things in this world as much as I was a fan of Blizzard when we started doing this show and remained that way for quite a few years. And it was just unadulterated. I loved everything this company freaking put out. Worship the ground that anyone who worked there walked on. I loved it. I was frothing at the mouth. And then, just years of erosion and seeing the ugliness that was, behind the scenes at Blizzard and how it was covered up by Blizzard and Activision. It chips away, and it has made me very cautious to celebrate companies at all, period. Like, I'm very cautious about really any kind of essentially tribalism at this point. Looking at you, Tesla fans. But so like I love me some games, and I really like Microsoft products. I really do. Over the past few years has really kind of been my platform of choice. I think Game Pass is, I can't argue with how much I get for my dollar over there. It makes an MMO subscription seem positively horrible. It's a terrible value proposition compared to something like Game Pass. And so, yeah, this is a very extended version of a tweet I put out the day that this news broke, which is to say that I think this is good news. I feel good about it. It does, in a way, feel like a resolution. As you know, as much as I think a lot of us want to see the shame nun come out and escort Kotick down the street, we knew we were never going to get that. And so I think this
would have been great if her bell just hit him on the way down.
I mean, I was looking forward more to the other things that were being thrown in that scene, but you know, it's fine. But yeah, so like my point is like
both?
Yeah, I said this on Twitter. I'll say it here. I feel good about this, but like the last few years of being a Blizzard fan has taught me anything. It's like I for the rest of my life, I'm going to be extremely cautious about being just an unabashed fan of a corporation. And so that's what it is. It is cautious optimism. I think this is good. It's a resolution that does at least put a smile on my face. But it is still cautious. It is still guarded.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm really glad that this is the company, I think, that got its hands on Activision Blizzard, just because from other companies that have been acquired by them, it seems like, well, again, this is me speaking as someone who is completely outside of all of this. Obviously, I don't work for either company, but it seems to me like, as a fan, as a player of Hearthstone and World of Warcraft, specifically under the Blizzard umbrella, the games have changed a little since they first came out. And it does seem like there has been a mind on monetization as opposed to creating good gameplay. And that's more on the WoW side than the Hearthstone side. But I think that there are examples in both camps where I kind of go, was that a gameplay decision or was that a money decision? And more often than not, my brain says, I think that was a money decision. And there's also teams at Blizzard that are working on unreleased, unrealized IPs, right? So to me, from what I've seen with other companies that have been acquired by Microsoft, is devs generally saying they've got a lot more time, they got a lot more freedom, they have a lot more resources, and I want to see the devs at Blizzard get access to the time and the resources to make good games again. Hearthstone literally grew out of that program originally. It was, somebody's little pet project, and it's amazing. We all love it. I want them to make more Hearthstones. And I think they can do that under Microsoft.
I don't want to be the old man on the front porch yelling at the quote unquote good old days, which we now know were very not good.
Not good. Yeah.
But I liked the games. Could I get some old school Blizzard games, please? Please. Listen, I get a lot of people really, really like Mercenaries. Boy, do I really don't like Mercenaries. I'd really.
How did you know that was the one that I was thinking?
Can I get an
Garrett?
isometric game? Can I get can I return to StarCraft? I can't believe they put StarCraft on that friggin' image that they didn't put Hearthstone on. Which, by the way, isn't Hearthstone like the only Blizzard game making money? Wouldn't you put that front row center on your on your image?
It is. So Ixar had an amazing tweet. Once they look at the balance sheet, I think Hearthstone will be on the next graphic. That's what he said.
Let's get right. Yeah, okay. We've had our serious talk. Let's get right back to memeing because that was. I looked at that. I'm like,
that's what Ixar said. That
was literally his tweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was blowing up Kyle's phone. We were talking so much shit. We're like, I can't. We thought they forgot about StarCraft. I can't believe StarCraft's on this thing.
Well, and I mean, it might bode well for some of the properties that weren't as lucrative for Blizzard, that now that may not matter quite as much under the Microsoft umbrella, and we might see a resurgence of StarCraft. We might see the StarCraft IP just get given to a dev team, whether it's within Blizzard or, some other studio that Microsoft owns, to do something with StarCraft or to do something with Heroes of the Storm. Like all of these things that have kind of fallen to the wayside under Activision might actually be picked up and made into something new by Microsoft or its subsidiaries. So I think it's good for the IPs that we love that this has happened.
You think it's what do you think, 10 years, 15 years before the folks over at Dreamhaven are like, hey, Microsoft, how much for Blizzard? How much? Just curious. Just I'm just window shopping. Just give me a figure.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. So before disclaimer time. I'm gonna say some stuff, but disclaimer time. So I'm about to talk mad shit about Activision. Before I do that, I want to be clear. Blizzard's cultural problems were homegrown. They were not inherited. They're not Bobby's fault. They were real and they were ours. So make peace with that. Alex Afrasiabi, among others, were there for 10 years, well before the Activision acquisition. So if you think this is all Bobby's fault, listen, he is not a great person. Bottom 10% of humanity.
He is not blameless.
No, not blameless, but not the cause of this problem.
Not the cause,
It's
yeah.
not as though that Blizzard was perfect culturally and then inherited a bunch of stuff. That's not what happened. However, Activision was well known that every game had to be a hit, very focused on quarter-by-quarter return, and this is allegedly what happened to Warcraft 3 Reforged. Ship it now. It's not ready. We don't care. Ship it now. That's allegedly what happened to Warcraft 3 Reforged. Don't know for sure. That was the reporting. But it didn't go well. It looked like it wasn't finished, and that wasn't something that Blizzard seemingly used to do. In contrast to Garrett, I played some Blizzard games when I was younger. I grew up on strategy games. XCOM, UFO Defense was a big one. Dune 2 was a big one. Command & Conquer Red Alert, but also Warcraft 3 and Diablo 2 were mainstays of my young life. But I was not a lifetime Blizzard gamer. I was a card gamer. I came to Hearthstone because it was an order of magnitude cheaper than the other card game I was playing. Yes, I came to Hearthstone because it was affordable. Soak on that. Let that soak into your brains. But I love Hearthstone. I since gotten into a little bit of WoW. Played a couple other Blizzard games. Talked to some Blizzard people. Went to some Blizzard conventions, BlizzCons, as we knew them back then. By the way, those are probably done forever.
Oh yeah, we're never getting another one of those.
No, those are BlizzCon.
God, can we all, I don't know, get like 7 boosters and then pick a day to meet out just to have a drink at the Hilton, just for a final hurrah on our own? I need a goodbye. I need a BlizzCon goodbye.
Yeah, the end of that 2019 BlizzCon wasn't the greatest for me, so I would like to have a happy goodbye.
Yeah.
I'd like that. But also the BlizzCons are probably BlizzCon, and at the same time, like, Microsoft doesn't seem like a company that needs a quarter-by-quarter return on every single game, and are probably chill with letting things take a minute. And that might be, as the kids call it, might be copium. But I am cautiously optimistic that Microsoft will let the game studio finish the games. And I think that would be cool.
What a novel concept.
Right. It's crazy. I know. But I think that
remember when that's what Blizzard was special for? Like taking the time to finish games?
Though it's you don't want to push that too far, because then you end up with Valve. And you don't want to get to that
When you mentioned
the whole other opposite direction.
When you mentioned hats earlier, I was thinking to myself, God, I'm so glad Valve didn't buy them, because we'd never see another game out of any of these studios.
Diablo 4 would move to VR exclusive on the Valve Index.
They just delete Diablo 3 because they don't do 3s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's good. I didn't even think about that.
That's great.
It's out of here.
But so as far as the Bobby talk, I have seen a lot of feedback of people wishing that Bobby Kotick faced accountability. And I'm not saying that is a wrong impulse. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying if you want rich people from America to face accountability for their actions, you are in the wrong century, because that just ain't happening. So if it's either him getting a payday and staying or him getting a payday and leaving, I'll take it. Rich people getting paid by other rich people is not going to stop at this point. This is well beyond the scope of this Hearthstone podcast. But if he gone, I'm celebrating. I don't care how much money he has. They'll pay him in unmarked yachts, and he'll go about his business. And he'll yacht off into the sunset, and I don't care. If he's gone, he's gone.
All right, I want to do a little negotiating here. Can we mark them? Maybe with dog poo?
I mean, you can personally do so. That's the Florida way.
Well, it's actually alligator poo, but thank you.
I lack the information.
I want to know.
And by the way, that was not a judgment. I respect the effectiveness of your techniques down there in Florida.
Listen, never mind. I was going to make a joke. Anyways, yeah, that's that. Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna take a moment and celebrate, like you mentioned, Hat, and I will think about how not having a shame none scenario bums me out at a later date. I'm gonna chalk this up to a win, smile, and I'll overanalyze it even more than I already have at a later date.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. By the way, there's probably going to be layoffs too. Just emotionally prepare yourself for that, because executives tend to like to hire their own people, and usually that means the people that were there before stop being there, and new bosses that executives install like to hire their own people. You see where this is going. Usually change equals churn, and some of that might be organic, as they call it. Some of that might be more organized. I imagine there will be a realignment or reorganization of sorts if and when the acquisition completes, and that usually means some level of attrition. Doesn't mean those jobs will be gone forever, but it might mean that the company becomes smaller and the individuals get paid more. Might mean the company becomes smaller, the individuals get paid the same, by the way, because also I don't want to attribute too much misguided optimism to this deal. I hope that people get paid more and that there are more jobs, but the people that we know and love that are in all the positions that we see, there's going to be some change there, and some of it will be independently driven and some of that will be organizationally driven. We have to prepare ourselves for that too.
Yeah, I think that there's the potential, like when looking at a company as big as Microsoft, there's a lot of functions that they already take care of. So I would imagine things like, well, I'm going to use IT as an example. Everybody has an IT department. Microsoft's going to have an IT department. So if Blizzard currently has an IT department, they're probably going to be let go because it's going to be folded into the larger Microsoft ecosystem. So I would
QA
say
is the same sort of thing, right? Like we have contract
like
QA. Microsoft is a giant QA department. However,
maybe
I can tell
potentially
you,
community
Jocelyn,
and marketing, like maybe, I don't know, but game dev, like straight up devs are probably safe asterisks. Because when you buy a company, you're buying it for the people that make the IP, right? You want their ideas, you want their skills, you want their insight. Like that's why you purchase a company. Otherwise, you do it yourself.
So one thing I will mention, Jocelyn, specifically, Jocelyn, to you. Do you remember why they did the Google contract? Was for Google Cloud Computing. That's a service that Microsoft offers. So the YouTube contract is gone, baby!
Yeah! Woot.
Sweet. Hearthstone can go to Mixer where they will get more views.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Does Mixer still exist? Question one.
No, it doesn't. That's why I was like, Garrett, did you miss the Mixer news?
No, yeah. but even if they set it to literally a graveyard, there would be, you get more eyeballs from corpses than you currently get streaming on YouTube.
Yeah. So yeah, back on Twitch. We did it, fam.
Yeah.
Just have to wait another 18 more months or so.
Roundabout way, yeah. Wait, so the merge is going to complete mid-year, so we're really probably waiting like a whole 2 years before anything changes with esports.
Maybe World Championship 2023 will be back on Twitch. If there is one.
Firebat will return to Hearthstone by the time by the time this all shakes out.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen there. Anyways.
Yeah.
I'm sticking a fork in it. I'm done.
Yeah. I think this has been an awesome 2-hour episode.
Yeah, a lot.
I'll point out only 5 minutes of that episode was my dust debacle.
4.
That is true.
I can't take responsibility for the rest.
Another minute was just celebrating that it was under 5 minutes.
Yeah, and crapping on Joce's husband. Take that.
Poor Matt.
Matt, I'm sorry. I think you're great.
I'm just gonna hide behind this phallic illustration while
do that when I'm
drinking. While you insult Jocelyn's spouse.
You can't stick a sudden tentacle in my face. Don't do that.
You gotta at least warn the guy.
Listen, I got a sudden tentacle in my DMs from one ridiculous hat.
From same guy.
Yeah. So
I'm not going to update the episode title because the SEO will not do what I want it to do.
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Check out patreon.com/TAC if you want to support the buffoonery that has been on display for the past 2 hours. Get access to our Discord as well as some other perks like an ad-free version of the show. You can also say thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H. and Dustin C. If you want to become a producer, we have a couple slots left. Check out patreon.com/TAC. The back catalog of episodes can be found at theangrychicken.com or over at youtube.com/amove2 if you want to watch the video archives. You can watch me spill beer on myself today. It was great. It's wonderful. You can watch me turn into a purple phallus.
Spill his whiskey. Like, what is going on with you two today?
I know.
I didn't spill it. I choked on it.
I had one beer. I know this looks like it holds 2, and we actually measured. No, it will not hold 2. So it awkwardly holds 1. It's like kind of low in it, but if you did 2, you'd lose half that beer. Anyways, yeah, follow the show on TAC Podcast. Around the table before we go, Joce, where can folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm at Joce Plays. That's JOCE Plays. You should also check out my general gaming podcast, The Gamers In, because we just hit episode 500. That's right. We've been around for 10 years. So go and check that out.
RidiculousHat yourself.
You can find me wherever sudden tentacles may be. Also on twitter.com/RidiculousHat. I host 2 other Hearthstone podcasts, Coin Concede, where we bring the competitive side of the Hearthstone scene. That's not even our tagline. Go listen to Coin Concede. We have No Hands Gamer on this week. Yeah, I know. So No Hands Gamer is going to be on Coin Concede this week. If you like No Hands Gamer, go listen to Coin Concede. And then Vicious Syndicate, there's no podcast this week because we're chilling until the nerfs hit next week. But that's over ViciousSyndicate.com. It's a data-driven look at the standard metagame. Garrett, what about you?
YouTube.com/AMoveTV. I just uploaded a brand new episode of Grinding Gear where you can join Kyle, Ferguson, and myself as we journey through Final Fantasy XIV for the first time. We both just started Heaven's Ward in the last week. I also swapped my job that I've been maining and learned myself, taught myself to tank. I'm having a really good time in Final Fantasy XIV. I've never been more happy to be extremely wrong, just convincing myself that I wouldn't like something. So yeah, go check that out over there, and also check out Let's Talk About Star Wars, because it's back for a season about the Book of Boba Fett. Now I'm going to go watch the Book of Boba Fett because we're recording this on Wednesday night. That's it. Party's over. Go home. Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done. And so is Bobby.
Woo!
In 18 months.
Woo! Let me have
Why
this.
you got to add that caveat?
All right, fine. Eat shit, Bobby.
I stopped recording too early.
Don't worry, I got it.
Local recordings for the win.
So put that. Where did I have this? I had a thing. I will take either high quality MP3s or waves can go in this place that I just linked. I'm gonna pin this.
First, you're sending tentacles and DMs, and now you're telling us where to insert things.
Yes.
I don't think Hat got my wave joke.
But I wasn't paying attention. What's going on?
Oh, I said I'm sending you a.
I get it. It's because you're waving, but
Wow.
the suffix of the file is wave, but you were waving, so it's a homonym.
That was as bad as Hat's D's Nuts jokes today.
No, you take that back.
Yes.
It was not.
It was
Come on.
terrible.
I was aiming for the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, like he had to really explain it before I understood.
Yeah. We should have people vote for like best hat joke of the year and worst hat joke of the year.
All right. Mine
I would be proudest of whatever wins the worst.
Well, then you should be very proud today.
I'm proud of myself every day, except for the ones I'm not.
I would be proud to be you. I think you're a cool guy.
Thanks.
The show about buddies, and none of us made jokes about like hanging out with our buddies today.
By the way, this episode was episode 450.
Yeah.
It was.
So TAC is up there.
The episode 400 was over a year ago.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That was fun. Chad, you should come back on. We haven't had Chad on in a while.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't, and we should.
We should probably
Vigil. I've been hanging out in Vigil's stream, learning that game that he plays with the shooting.
Valorant?
Yes. Yeah, that one. And yeah, I miss having him on the show.
Or
get Vigil back.
You want to make people mad? Call it Valorant.
Is that okay. Valorant?
Valorant.
Not Valorant.
Valorant,
Okay.
like Valor, Ant.
Ah, okay. Valor for ants. Got it.
Valor Ants. Now that's an Ant-Man movie I'd get excited about.
Now I want them all to have skins of them dressed in ant costumes. That would be amazing.
They're gonna tell me you want an ant skin. I'm just like, ooh, what the silence of the shit is going on here? He puts the
Pat,
lotion
do
in
you
his
see my
basket.
upload and does it sound okay?
I haven't listened to anything
okay.
yet, but I'm gonna click this tab
But it's
here.
there? Okay.
If I
There's
bookmark
something
this,
from someone named Joce. That's probably you.
It's me.
You uploaded 650 megabytes pretty quick.
Yeah. I got fucking fiber.
I have heard that Canadian internet is not always great, but if you have fiber, then that is great.
It's like lasers, man.
I am just now dropping mine in, and the estimate is 3 minutes.
Okay.
2 minutes.
I guess I can wait that long.
2 minutes. Fucking fiber, clip that. Sukandi's nuts. No.
There are a lot of show titles that people would have to turn safe search off for. We want to dodge those.
I don't think we can use I'm a wiener.
I'm a wiener.
Mm,
I'm a wiener.
Let's go in from Hat.
I was the one that typed that. Yes, that's correct.
But I am truly a wiener.
Oh, whoops. So did we want everybody gets a buddy, Clippy Stone, or unmarked yachts? I feel like I don't want unmarked yachts because I want something about BG buddies. More so than fucking Bobby Kotick. Eat shit.
Actually, hold on. I want this with like the Backstreet Boys in the background.
What? Oh, everybody. Yeah. Rock your buddy. Yeah.
Rock your buddy.
Everybody. Rock your buddy, right? Hearthstone's back. All right.
So
Nailed it.
I remember this was actually shocking to me when I ran this poll September of last year. I'm gonna link that tweet right there. Do you I think you both voted in this. Backstreet's Back versus Bye Bye Bye.
Backstreet's Back, duh, is the only answer.
Garrett? It's tough, isn't it?
I will disown you.
So will Katie, which is a bigger threat. So I want you to know that your threat means nothing to me.
But our friendship.
Yeah. I do prefer Bye Bye Bye, but I think Backstreet's Back is more iconic.
They're both pretty exceptional bops, right? Like
Yeah.
they're both. If either one comes on at a wedding, I tweeted this at a wedding where Backstreet's Back came on, but I had just watched the Bye 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 episode of Scrubs, so like they were both fresh in my mind. I'm a big Justin Timberlake stan, big Justin Timberlake guy, and I like Bye 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 is an awesome song. I will absolutely rock the hell out to Backstreet's Back, but I went Bye Bye Bye. Backstreet's Back won with 53% of the vote.
Yeah,
53%.
because 53% of people are right.
I think it's a classier pick.
40 96% of people are dumb.
Yeah. Listen, at a wedding, it's Usher's Yeah for me. It's got to be Usher's Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking like bops, all of the bops, then there's other answers. But
or also, Black Eyed Peas Night's gonna be a good night. Like that's at every wedding.
No, I will go get another drink.
Wedding.
I hate that song. That is in top 10 of like I wish that band never was a thing. I hate that song so much.
We got to submit a list to our DJ that was like, do not plays. And I was like, if
that
I
is
hear this,
right
you're
next.
fired.
I think that is tied with Photograph by Nickelback for me. Like that is one of my. I cannot stand. I hate the Black Eyed Peas. I think they are artistically bankrupt.
Wow.
Yeah. That's no good. One of my favorite moments ever was at my cousin's wedding. They put on Forgot About Dre, and it was the whitest dance floor you've ever seen that knew every word to that song, because we are all white trash. All of us. And we love the Chronic.
I mean, there was an era there in the late 90s and the early zeros where like the 90s were definitely like the R&B era. Like Boys to Men was huge, and then you got to kind of segue into the like. I remember actually growing up in like the mid 90s. I lived in a very white neighborhood, and a lot of people owned Bone Thugs and Harmony's album. Like a lot of people had that album. It was really good. And then you just end up with the Eminem era, and that kind of just rap was just a thing. It was just a thing everyone did.
When that shit was coming out, like I was still in Catholic grade school, and it was washing over 6th grade like a pox. 6th graders with Doggy Style, The Chronic. What the shit was Eminem's first album? I'm a Marshall Mathers fan. I always forget what the first one was called.
The Slim Shady LP.
Slim Shady LP, which I think is infinitely inferior to the Marshall Mathers LP, but yeah.
His second album, actually, his first one was Infinite, I think.
That's right. It's bad. It's not great.
It's terrible. Yeah.
It's not great. But yeah, just like the most vulgar, like the most vulgar shit I've ever heard in my life, just washing over 6th graders at a Catholic elementary school. Just, you couldn't stop it. That and South Park. Just all at the same time. Like the fact that I can get through a sentence without 3 F-bombs in standard conversation is amazing. So yeah. And at the same time, for some reason, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. How'd that all coalesce at the same time? It was strange, man. It was so aggressive and yet so saccharine. Like pop had reached heights the likes of which we had never seen, and so did shit like Limp Bizkit. Like, God, you had to be there. You had to be there.
For Limp Bizkit, you really had to be there.
That's okay. They're back. They're back with a new album. You can be there again.
Oh my god!
And Fred Durst is trying to sell you NFTs. So you know.
What? No, Fred. Why?
Are you surprised?
Are you really
surprised?
1
second.
Truly surprised.
Yeah, that is the least surprising thing that I've heard so far today. Like, of course he is.
Listen, he could be Bobby Kotick.
I don't think that Fred Durst is a bad person. He's just a very Fred Durst person.
Which is kind of something to aspire for in and of itself, to become a descriptor for other people.
I don't know. We need to go that far.
So yourself, that other people become like you.
You can be so yourself. Just don't be so Fred Durst. Like it is. That's not the yourself to target. Target somebody else's yourself.
I'm gonna say that I think he has a brilliant strategic mind, and the dude understands how the game is played. I don't think Limp Bizkit became famous by accident, and I think Fred Durst had a lot to do with that. So in that way, I respect the man. I don't think anyone is going to go to bat and say that he's like a fantastic vocalist.
He gave me break stuff.
Yeah. Musically, I'm gonna give it to John Otto and Wes Borland. John Otto is a really underrated drummer, and Wes Borland is wonderful.
I had such a thing for him.
Wes?
Yeah.
Really?
It was the
Wow.
Here's the context.
Yeah.
God, the layers of the onion that is Jocelyn just keep getting more interesting.
This is plausible to me.
I wouldn't have paid you for that. I would not have called it. You could have. Oh, I would have lost so much money on that. If you were like, I had a crush on someone in Limp Bizkit, and just you can bet on the one that definitely isn't, and I would have been like, all right, here's all of my money I'm going to put on West Borland.
Yeah, no, huge thing for him when I was younger.
All right.
He was my jam.
Joss liked the weird kids at school.
I did. I did, and I was one.
All right. Well, that was a delightful after show. Chat, I am going to bring it down now. I'm going to go watch Book of Boba Fett. Thank you so much for hanging out. This is a long one. This is a marathon session.
It was a good one.
That's what Cthulhu said.
Oh, yeah. Listen. No, Cthulhu's was a long one. Cthulhu has a long one. Depending on how many +1+1s it gets. Cthulhu has a healthy supply of blue pills. I'm just going to say that much.
I like sharks.
Garrett, please press end stream. Do it right now.
Listen, it's we're having a tantric Cthulhu session here, okay? Okay. The Cthulhu session ends when Cthulhu says it ends.
Wine for this.
Bye,
Good night,
everybody.
y'all.
I love you.
Yes.